Hey folks, Jessica here. So if you saw my video earlier today, or I guess it might be yesterday, depending on when I upload this, and you saw my first impressions on Swimsuit Shalem and Summer Shiva and the random 10 pull I did, you'll know what this video is going to be about. Likely you also know what it's going to be about because it has a title and probably a screenshot that spoils it. Today we're going to be talking about Swimsuit Shalem. That 10 pull, that random 10 pull went very well. Very pleased by it. But yeah, I'm gonna give you my thoughts because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering on how good she is and where I think she fits in the meta and whether or not I think you should try and roll for her. So yeah, let's just get into it. Without further ado, let's go to the beach for Shalem. Alright, what'd she do? Her element's water, her race is other, her style is special, and her specialties are spear and staff. Her charge attack is gonna be pretty defining part of her kit. Chaos Impact. 450% water damage to a foe, removes one buff, so it dispels, and it delays. A charge attack that dispels is very strong. A charge attack that delays is very strong. A charge attack that does both is extraordinarily strong. And there's another caveat that we'll get to later that makes this further stronger. For one, it's going to seem very familiar to you if you're fairly endgame. Trespass. 0-turn cooldown. Inflicts 10% attack down, 10% defense down. Stackable up to 40%, very high. And a random debuff on all foes. Consumes 10% or charge bar. If this seems familiar to you, this is because this is the same thing as Urias's Discover Truth, his 1. And if you, like I said, if you're endgame and you've done a lot of hard fights with Wind, you know that Urias is an extremely meta character. Almost a requirement for the Wind player to bring on Lucilius HL, back in the day at least. It might be easier now, but when I was doing the Lucilius HL, the Wind player would always bring a Urias. So let's look a little bit more, though, because there's some differences here. So, Shalem's Trespass can inflict one of the following debuffs. Poison, Putrefied, Charm, Petrified, Blinded, 20% special attack damage lowered, 25% attack down, 25% defense down, or Paralyze. And this attack and defense down will stack, I'm pretty sure, with the stacking attack and stacking defense down because they're different debuffs. So that's extraordinarily useful. This is a very big deal that she has this, because if you aren't familiar with how Urias plays, this is a 0-turn cooldown and only consumes 10% of her charge bar. So how it usually goes is you get her charge bar through however you want, and then you just spam the shit out of the skill to load the boss up with debuffs. And because it's a 10% charge bar is all the cost and no cooldown, she can pretty much always refresh attack and defense down and then just stack the other things pretty reliably. That's similar to how Urias is played. There are some differences, though, that I'll highlight. So, Urias has different debuffs, random debuffs, than she does. And he's only got 8 total. She has 9. So where the differences are his are Poison, Putrefy, Petrify, Sleep, Charm, Blind, Paralyze, and Accuracy lowered. The one she does not have Sleep, and she does not have Accuracy lowered, but instead she has 20% special attack damage lowered, and then the 25% attack down, 25% defense down. So I'm going to say her kit's probably actually a little stronger, because I would rather have this attack damage lower and the attack defense down, rather than, say, accuracy lower and sleep. Because sleep is probably gonna miss on a lot of really hard bosses, honestly. Like, a lot of hard bosses are not gonna be vulnerable to that stuff. In addition to that, an interesting point, I don't have the numbers on this yet, and we don't have the numbers on the random debuffs. Those will come when people run a lot of tests to see what the rates are. But barring that, if you look at Urias's debuff, it's over 100% base accuracy, and then he's got 1 debuff success node. Shalem's we don't have the number for, but I'm gonna assume this is also a similar base number, so over 100% accuracy. But she's got 2 debuff success nodes, so presumably, all things being equal, she's gonna be more likely to land her debuffs. So if that's all she had, she would be a meta character for hard fights, but she's got more stuff. Karma is her 2, and this one's super interesting. It's got 11 turn cooldown, 5 turn duration. It's 1000% water damage to all foes, so it's a pretty hard nuke. But this is the interesting part. 3 turn cut to water allies' skill cooldowns. I cannot think of anything off the top of my head that does something similar on a character skill. There's some characters like Grand Cag who have a full skill reset, but she has a ready time for that. So a character just having a 3-turn cut to all ally skill cooldowns without a ready time is pretty interesting. There's going to be, I don't know off the top of my head where I'd use it, but there's probably going to be a lot of fights where there's something broke you can do. But also for hard fights, it's just going to, like, without getting too clever, this is probably going to save your life because the CHL, again, there's plenty of occasions where your team gets stuck. Like, the raid gets stuck because no one has a phalanx, or you don't have charge bar and you need to use, like, an ignite or something, but it's on cooldown, or you don't have, like, a mitigation, or, like, you know, some way to, like, stop an attack to give unchallenge because the shit's on cooldown. This essentially is going to let you fix that pretty reliably, and that's a big deal. Now, it has a significant demerit. It has a significant downside. Demerits from FGO. I'm playing too much FGO. The significant downside is inflicts summonless on all party members. Summonless means you can't summon, and that's usually a pretty devastating thing. But this one's a little different. It can be played around because summonless is usually permanent. This thing only has a 5-turn duration, so in theory, if you time this correctly, you can play around it in a hard fight. And likely, if you're ever to need this effect, you're probably gonna like value the 3-turn cut in that moment more than you will be upset that you can't summon things for the next 5 turns. It's not gonna be like just slam dunk used every time because summonless is pretty brutal in some situations. So, but if you play around it properly, you should be fine. Like, use your big summon you need to use and then use the skill, that kind of thing. So her 3 is Harlequin. It's 11 turn cooldown, 1 turn, 6 turn duration, and inflicts subjugated, 100% double attack down, 100% triple attack down, and accuracy lowered on all foes. This is going to look familiar too if you're familiar with Grand Cag, because this skill is essentially the same thing as Pinnacle of Geometry, because her Pinnacle of Geometry from Cag, 11 turn cooldown, 1 to 6 turn duration, inflicts can't act, 100% double attack down, 100% triple attack down, accuracy lowered. Exact same skill, basically. And just like Cag, subjugated is basically can't act. It makes it so the boss cannot use attacks and cannot use skills for that turn, and its base accuracy note is guaranteed, just like Cag. Much like Cag, where you're going to want to use this will be pretty specific. It's going to save your life in a lot of situations, but you have to be a little bit careful because while it will delay a thing for a turn like an Omen, it's not going to cancel an Omen on its own. So keep that in mind. It might buy you another turn to set up for an Omen, but yeah, it's not going to cancel an Omen. That said, the fact that it's guaranteed to land is potentially going to break some things in a way that's beneficial to you, obviously, because this can land regardless of debuff immunity. Things like Veil, things like 100% debuff resistance on the boss won't stop this. Assuming that this is exactly like Cag, which we have a note here, things like immune and debuff resistance do not prevent it. And I have no reason to believe it's not exactly the same. So bosses like, well, I mean, Cag's case was Fidel, but like bosses that you can't debuff, you should be able to debuff for this. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty useful in the cases it's useful for. But again, it's mostly going to be a tool for high difficulty content, not something you use just every day. So if you want more offensive tools, let's start looking at her passives. The first one is Gaze Upon My Majesty, mortals. 20% hit to max HP, 30% boost to attack, charge bar fills 30% faster, and guaranteed double attack. So guaranteed multis, but not guaranteed triples. This is a pretty good effect for her. Because she's guaranteed to multi at least, and she gains charge bar faster, it's going to make getting her charge attack built up pretty quick. And that's what you want to do because her charge attack is the most powerful part of her kit for an offensive standpoint. And why I say that is the second passive, Lost Child of Eternal Summer. Boosts the charge attack damage cap, based on number of foes debuffs. I'll give you a chart. At 10 plus debuffs, it is a 90% boost to charge attack damage and a 30% boost to charge attack damage cap. But, this is the big one, when the foe has 10 or more debuffs, activate charge attack twice. She has an innate charge attack reactivation. Think Golden Knight. Like, Golden Knight, if she has, I think it's 12 or more buffs, has a reactivation on her charge attack. That's very strong. And the thing with Golden Knight is it can be tricky. You kind of have to build your team around getting her enough buffs. So it's actually not as easy as you would think to set up. But with Shalem, because it's based on number of foes debuffs, this is very easy to set up. Because she can do this on her own. Like, Trespass can apply, well, it's going to apply 2 debuffs with attack and defense down. It can apply up to 9 debuffs with the random debuffs. You're likely not going to get all 9. But then on top of that, Harlequin also applies 4 debuffs. And, like, it's not going to be very hard at all to set this up. Like, on her own, she can enable this. But if you got another character that applies any level of debuffs, it's really easy to get to 10. And then if you're doing, like, any kind of raid content, there's going to be a shit ton of debuffs from other players on the boss. Like, this is going to be pretty much always active unless the boss is completely immune to debuffs, in which case you probably don't bring Shalem. So, yeah, and then keep in mind, charge attack reactivation is doubly powerful for her, because, like, yes, it's going to be a lot of extra damage because of the passive, but every time she charge attacks, she's going to be debuffing, she's going to be dispelling and delaying. So a double dispel, double delay pretty rapidly out of her. And I wouldn't be surprised if you could set up like loops where you just permanently delay something, so the only thing you really worry about are omens and triggers. So you kind of get why she's very well suited for hard content. I'm not quite sure what the ideal team I want to run with her is. We're going to go with this one. So, this is essentially a team that does pretty well with charge attack. So Shalem herself, Zeta charge attacks for quite a lot. Vajra is a charge attack character. The back row is just Kag and Silva. Haven't really thought much about the back row. Back row Silva for water does give you enhanced crits. Let's see, where is it? Let's see. Charge attack won't miss. Boost to water allies critical damage cap. So you crit harder with water Silva in the back row. A lot of people don't realize that. That is one of Silva's passives. So this is the grid we're going to use. This is basically my water crit grid, but I did swap out a Merglace for one of these orbs. These orbs, the Blue Sphere. Blue Sphere gives massive water attack and then medium charge attack and charge attack damage cap up. So we're charge attack focused, so that's gonna help. We're running Relic Buster because of a limit, what is it called? Limit Burst, to give everyone charge bar. There might be a better option than that. I would have to think about it. But this will at least let us charge attack immediately on everybody. And then these are my summons. So Varuna, of course. Longji is the Crest summon, or a Karam summon. Belial, of course, and then Gabriel. So there you go. Let's go fight some stuff. I'm not quite sure what to fight yet, though. Light Audible, I just realized. I'm swapping Longji out for Kaguya, because Kaguya gives charge bar, which works with the charge attack plan. Also gives increased charge attack damage and passively increases XP, so, you know, all good stuff. And I was trying to think what fight I want to use Shalem on to showcase her, and I don't really want to do Europa, because I don't actually think she's complex enough to warrant a high difficulty character like Shalem. So we're going to do 6 Dragon Advent, Vermilion, so Villainous. And we'll use this setup. Alright, so first things first, you can debuff the absolute shit out of a boss just right off the bat with Shalem because, well, it costs 10% charge bar, so you just keep doing it. So it's got like Putrefy on, attack down, stacking attack down, stacking defense down. Now it's got 20% attack, stacking attack down, 20% stacking defense down. Oh, special attack damage lower, do it again. And you just keep on doing that shit you want. And so that's 5 debuffs right there, just from Shalem. Zeta is even going to apply a debuff here with Arvis from there. So this thing's up to like, what, 7 debuffs now? Yeah. Because it also got the targeted debuff from Zeta. Vajra is going to apply second attack and defense down plus a debuff resistance lowered, which I actually probably should have led with in retrospect, but it's fine. And like, we can apply Putrefy with Varuna if we wanted. And then this is going to be interesting. I applied Miss with Cheetah, which I want you to note that this thing has 3 versions of defense down. Defense down, regular, stacking defense down, and then 4-turn defense down. So it's got 3 versions of defense down on it. And you know, if you wanted to further debuff, since Shalem's at the back end of this progression, she doesn't need to necessarily be full charge bar, because Vajra in front of her is going to charge attack. So I can also further apply 2 more rounds of debuffs. So there's Blinded. Another one. And if I really wanted to max out the debuffs, I could hit her Harlequin. And now this thing has so many debuffs, it's scrolled right off my screen. So it's easy, exceedingly easy, to get Shalem into a condition where she can double charge attack. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, I haven't done a video on her, but Water Zeta's here. Water Zeta is really strong. Like that assassin turn, plus a double strike into a giant charge attack. Ooh. Water Zeta is the strongest of the Zetas. She's also mean. It's a double strike from Vajra into charge attack. Grab Shalem. I love that animation. And another one. That's a good, what, 27% turn 1? That's the thing that couldn't act. So I'm fairly certain that we can just... meet this hits requirement, no problem. Let's just go for it. Oh yeah, easy. We're definitely at 40. Nice. So, this thing's gonna clear its debuffs when it hits, I think 40% is a transition, so we want to save some charge bar and Shalem for that circumstance. So delay it. So, we're just gonna go again. And at some point, we will use her skill cooldown cut to get further damage out of this team. So I think we're gonna hold charge attack on Shalem this next turn. As much as I don't want to. Hadron Sphere, nice, whatever, don't care. Black Crevasse, huh? That's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. I actually don't want to hold charge attack here because I want to delay with Shalem, so I guess we'll just go for it. Zeta's set up to charge attack, so we can just hit that. And now we will double charge attack with Shalem. And that will delay this thing. So we don't have to worry about this Black Crevasse. Black Crevasse, that's what it's called. Unexpected full burst. The Shalem will double. Delayed it, so it's not going to charge attack. Very nice, just as planned. All according to plan. All according to Keikaku. And this thing's gonna try and magma chamber us. So, I want you to note that it cleared its debuffs because of the phase transition. Now that would normally be bad news, but remember, Shalem only needs 10% charge bar to start stacking debuffs again, and that's what we're gonna do. So, 2 rounds of attack and defense down to at least soften the blow of this attack, because we are not gonna guard, because guarding is for chumps. Be a chains thing also. Oh, and also, note that our cooldowns are in position, and we've used all our summons besides Kaguya, who is actually not as well suited as I thought would be, because she's got a ready time. Use this. Karma. Summonless, who cares? Everything's reset for a bunch of characters, so we can get all this stuff rolling again. We're gonna basically mess this guy up. I don't actually know if we can hit 36 attacks. Can we? I kind of want to see if we can. Let's hold. Let's see if we can do 35 attacks. No? Oh, there we go. But yeah, Shalem's skill reset basically set that up for us. I mean, I guess we could debuff it some more. We could just kill it. Goodbye. Welcome to die. What turn is it? I wasn't even paying attention. Guessing it's a little bad. It's turn 6. So, 6 turn villainous. That's kind of what Shalem gets you, just the ability to ignore stuff because she's so overwhelmingly potent as a debuffer. What you guess? This is a regular version, so it's just gonna be max. Alright, conclusions. So, yeah, Shalem's pretty strong, I gotta say. She's mostly for high difficulty, though, and that's the thing you should know if you want to get her. So let's just jump right into the rankings. Again, the scale is gonna be C rank is just a bad character. Double S rank is a meta-defining character. 3 axes we're gonna rank them on are fast fights, so 1 turn kill to 5 turns, full auto, and high difficulty. So for fast kills, you could make a case for her being pretty good in like a 5-turn kill setup, like for anything up to 5 turns, because Villainous there was 6 turns. I would consider that a pretty quick Villainous. A lot of people might not like think of using her in that scenario, but the fact that she was able to so thoroughly debuff the boss and control them does mean that we can kind of just ignore a lot of mechanics and power through them. So yeah, I think in that regard, she's actually decent. She's no, like, you know, she's no Swimsuit Ilnot or like Summer Mimlamel. She's not a person that sets up a 1-turn kill, but for like a short-ish length fight, I think she actually works pretty well. So I would say she's an A rank there. For full auto, let's see. Her Trespass is not going to activate on full auto. Harlequin, I don't think will activate. No, Harlequin will activate on full auto. Karma will activate on full auto, and we won't need summons because it's full auto. So, you know, her stuff does activate on full auto. But she's not bringing anything super special to the table, besides the fact that she will like have a boost, just a passive boost attack, guaranteed charge bar gain, and she will be guaranteed to deal multi-attacks. And then likely, even on full auto, you'll probably debuff the boss enough to get this thing active, the charge attack reactivation. Especially if you're full autoing a raid boss with more than just yourself there. So I'm gonna say for full auto, I would also say she's an A. Because the thing is, on full auto, she's still gonna dispel and delay on charge attack. And there's going to be a lot of fights where that's actually going to line up right to just be helpful to you, to like keep you a little bit safer. She's not going to be like S or double S for full auto, because she's not someone like, say, a Swimsuit Hero who actually, or a Christmas Nenemy. Both, like, Swimsuit Hero, Christmas Nenemy, both characters that do a tremendous amount of extra damage, like, on full auto. You just let them go and they'll blow the boss up. She's not that, but she works fine. Like, enough for a kit works on full auto. I think I'm comfortable saying that she is A rank. And then for high difficulty, she's double S tier. Like, I would say she's triple S tier if that were a thing. Like, there are multiple parts of her kit alone that would make her an S tier character for high difficulty. Her charge attack, both removing a debuff and delaying, is one of them. But the fact that beyond that, it will react. She has charge attack reactivation passively. That's easy to set up. That's a key part because Golden Knights is much less easy to set up. Like that is on its own. If she had nothing else, would make her like probably double S tier for high difficulty. But in addition to that, she has Urias's 1, which is another thing that would likely on its own make her double S tier for high difficulty. In addition to that, she's got this. She's got Kag's 3 Pinnacle Geometry. She can like just stop the boss for a turn. Even the boss is completely immune to debuff. She can just stop it for a turn. In addition to debuffing it, it's multi-attack severely, and also hitting its accuracy, which is nice to have. And in addition to that, she gets you some options with her skill cooldown cut. Like, it's gonna give you access to skills probably at the time you need them. You're like, she's gonna save your life with that. Yeah, she'll be summonless, but for most fights, like in that Wellness example, everything was on cooldown anyways for a very long time, so the summonless would not have mattered at all. So yeah, double S tier for high difficulty. I think I don't really need to make much more of case. Like, it's very clear that's what she's for. Overall, then, I would say she's S rank. And this gets into kind of the scale I use, where things that you do every day, like farm, like blitz down bosses, like full auto down longer bosses, they're going to be worth more in your overall ranking than, say, something like high difficulty, which you're just not doing as often. So that all said, I think overall, she's an extremely good character. Like, S rank is totally fair for her. I lean, if we are in a period where being able to do high difficulty content was more important, I might be tempted to push her a little bit higher, like S plus. But I don't want to get into like S pluses. Like, it's either your S rank or your double S rank, and I'm not gonna break that rule, at least not for her right now. So yeah, I think she's a comfortable S tier. If you're thinking about getting her, do know that that's what she's for. There's going to be a lot of characters you can run that are just going to be better for fast farming, but if you need somebody that keeps you safe in a hard fight and that works all right in full auto, and that, you know, can work well in, like, say a 3 to 5 turn kill setup, Shalem's your gal. Like, she's very good. Anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you're pulling for Shalem, if you managed to pull her. Let me know if you plan sparking for her, if she's your fave or something. I'm very curious. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!